So a few months back, we covered this story here. This article was in The Guardian. Former Trump spiritual advisor faces charges of lewd acts with a child. Texas megachurch founder Robert Morris indicted in Oklahoma on 5 counts over alleged misconduct in 1982. So they go on to explain that at the time he was 21 years old and he diddled a 12-year-old. 12. Trump spiritual advisor. Okay. Guys, this is only one of countless stories with the same goddamn theme. And the theme I'm talking about is hardcore MAGA ends up being a child sex pest, hardcore MAGA. Or conservative Christian, like super religious, evangelical, and they get caught in the same predicament, right? It happens time and time again. So now, this was one we did a few months back. We just got this one the other day. South Carolina Representative R.J. May has been charged with distributing sexual abuse material involving children. He allegedly used the screen name Joe Biden with a bunch of N's, 69, to exchange 220 different files of toddlers and young children involved in sex acts. What the fuck? What the fuck? Let me tell you something, y'all. You don't have to dig deep to start seeing the laundry list of these types of people being caught red-handed. In fact, here's one for you. This is what you're seeing here is just a bunch of different headlines over time that talk about, okay, one says, QAnon follower and former MAGA congressional candidate Ben Gibson arrested for possession of child sex abuse material. That's just one headline. If we zoom in a little bit here, Oklahoma College Republicans chairman charged with sex crimes against minor, right? We don't need to read all these, but you guys get the gist of it. These are all examples of hardcore MAGA types or conservative Christians who also, I repeat myself, they're also MAGA types. And they always get caught like this. Why does this keep happening? Originally when I first heard of Pedocon theory, I thought it was liberals and leftists joking around, having a good time, poking fun at the right, being like, sort of tongue-in-cheek, like, yeah, look at this. This is a thing. But shit, I'll be damned. This is a fucking thing. This is a thing. How many examples do we need before, people wake up to the fact that something's fucking off here, bro? Something is absolutely positively off here. Dennis Hastert was Speaker of the House, ended up being a pedophile, Republican pedophile, caught. Mark Foley, Roy Moore, Matt Gaetz was alleged, Rick Rober, Mike Hintz, Stephen White, Beverly Russell. These are all Republican politicians caught red fucking handed. So, of course, I got to bring this up. This is the old school Pedocon theory video. I don't know how many of you have seen it. I don't know how many of you haven't seen it. We played it a couple times on this show. But tell me that this shit is not as convincing can be. It keeps fucking happening. And all you got to do is sit down and start counting them up. Start reading the details of each one. And you go, holy shit, is it a self-report? For somebody to be hardcore MAGA or hardcore evangelical, is that a self-report? Are they self-reporting like, hey dog, I'm fucked up. I'm into things that nobody should be into. Here we go, watch.
The stunning political scandal that is rocking Capitol Hill. Republican Congressman Mark Foley abruptly resigned Friday after questionable emails he sent to a teenage boy.
Dennis Hastert convicted of a financial crime, part of a scheme to mask something more egregious, his molestation of children.
Hush money used to pay a man who says Hastert sexually abused him when he was 14 years old.
There are now 5 former Ohio State wrestlers accusing Republican Congressman Jim Jordan of knowing about a team doctor's alleged sexual misconduct.
43 men who say they were sexually assaulted, abused, molested, or harassed by Dr. Richard Strauss.
George Nader. His criminal history included multiple convictions for child pornography and child molestation.
This morning, a judge sentenced Ralph Shorty to 15 years in prison. Police caught Shorty in a hotel room with a then 17-year-old boy.
Roy more defiant as more accusers step forward, alleging sexual misconduct.
This is the shopping mall where some say it was common knowledge and not a big secret that Roy Moore would flirt with teenage girls when he was in his 30s.
One accuser says that Moore initiated a sexual encounter back in 1979 when she was just 14 years old.
The new charges against Joel Greenberg.
Sex trafficking of a minor and stalking a political opponent.
Florida Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz allegedly having a sexual relationship with a 17-year-old girl.
Investigators examining whether he, quote, violated federal sex trafficking laws.
Ghislaine Maxwell is accused of helping Epstein sexually abuse underage girls.
I've met her numerous times over the years, especially since I lived in Palm Beach, and I guess they lived in Palm Beach, but I wish her well.
Yeah, well, as people have pointed out, Pedocon is a theory like gravity is a theory at this point, man. I hesitated for a while before I decided to bring this up on air, but when every day, story after story after story after story, I swear to God, I can't go a full week without hearing about some either MAGA lawmaker at the state level or some evangelical Christian right-winger where you learn, oh, okay, yeah, they got caught diddling a kid, doing the most heinous crimes you could ever imagine. Every single week, you get hit with something. I saw somebody in one of these, one of these stories, somebody tweeted it, and in the replies, somebody came in there and said, ask Grok, like, hey, Grok, which political party has more child sex abusers? And Grok was like, Republicans. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So, and we haven't even, I mean, they touched on Epstein stuff there too, but remember, this is like the core of what we're talking about here, right? Because there's a real problem. Remember, Epstein learned human trafficking from Trump's teen modeling agency. Remember, that was reported. We discussed that. Trump was buddy-buddy with John Casablancas, with Jean-Luc Brunel. These are guys who are notorious pedophiles. These are guys with their teen modeling agencies. It was all a front for human trafficking, guys. Like, all of that was a total front for human trafficking. And so Epstein learned, he said, I want to model my own business after Trump's modeling agency. And this was the most notorious pedophile human sex trafficker in history. And he learned it from Trump. So the list of stuff, Trump offered Epstein a job in his first term. We just learned that this week, actually. Trump wrote a creepy love letter to Epstein on his 50th birthday saying enigmas never age and we share a lot in common, don't we, Jeffrey? Trump and Epstein literally shared a girlfriend. We talked about that. There's one woman who came forward and said that Trump and Epstein had some weird sexual assault game, harassment game that they played with her. I remember covering that back on Crystal Kyle and Friends about a year ago. Epstein apparently knew the inner workings of Trump's White House in his first term, which begs the question, fucking how? How? Potentially because he's Mossad and he's got moles in there. The first time Trump and Melania had sex was on the Lolita Express. And, of course, Epstein was best friends with Trump for a decade. And I didn't even give you everything, all the dirt on Trump and Epstein. That's just a little piece of it. But, these are fucked up people, bro. These are fucked up people. And I don't think people really understand the depths of the depravity here. But, I always said it. When it came to, there was a trend. The more, aggressively anti-gay somebody was, the more they secretly yearn for dick. And that's always been true. If you have some right-winger or some Christian who's, viciously anti-gay and, makes a point of making those arguments on a regular basis as to how, no, you should be against gay marriage, and this is sin, and this is evil, and this is not right, the ones who are most vocal are the ones who want a dick in their mouth. And then it always comes out that that's true, right? And usually they get raised in a religious environment and they're self-haters and they're almost jealous of out and open gay people because they feel like, how come you could have all the fun and I got to stay here and hide and not have the fun? And so now I'm starting to think, is it that the more hardcore MAGA you are, or the more of a hardcore conservative Christian that you are, that the more likely it is that, hey dog, Pedocon. It's Pedocon. You're outing yourself. They gotta take your hard drive immediately, dog. They gotta take your hard drive immediately. Because I've just seen too many fucking examples. Too many examples. Week after week, it's another one. And nobody talks about it. We're the only ones talking about it. Nobody's gonna talk about it. Nobody's gonna connect the dots. People still say it jokey on social media, but maybe there's something there. It sure as hell looks like it. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.